Where's my curveball? Right here?
It said 74.
Oh, it's not. It's cooler than that. It's not bad.
Well, it's set at 59. I mean, I was sweating bullets, and I have a fan in my throat.
It's the same way with my husband and I. I'm always roasting, he's cold. It's just the way,
Because when I sit on the beach,
the way of nature. So Faye, I'll tell Nana, if there's any doubt on my mind, I will really lay back and you guys just keep going, I'll find you.
and this way she'll be able to pick up the
Yeah, because I couldn't read your person at all, because you were mic'd, right? So now, drink lots of water. I should have brought a protein bar for you. Okay, I have that. Okay, that's good. That'll kick in. Nope, we only have a few minutes. Are they pretty timely? Hello there.
Bobby? We're good.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. As you can see, the cantor is on vacation, so we're going to start this evening.
Hello, people.
They're singing with us. On your yellow sheets, you'll find Shir Hadash on your yellow sheet. We're going to sing that together to get things started.
We're going to start with Shir Hadash.
that right?
Shabbat Shalom. Can you hear me now? Okay. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to TBS. Members, guests, and those at home watching me on TV. I am Rich Lieber, Financial Secretary, and I'm glad to be here. And again, Shabbat Shalom.
Oh, the visitors. Ask Carmen to come up and do the visit.
She's coming. Chairman Berkowitz, our membership chairperson, is going to introduce our visit. Bobby, can you turn this mic up? Thank you.
I guess you have to speak it. Yeah.
Okay. Even in our hot weather, we have a lot of guests. Thank you for coming. Stanley Cohn, can you raise your hand? There's Stanley. Hi, Stanley. Andy and Sherry Kirshner. Hi. Melissa and Scott Goldenhurst and family. Welcome. Jordan O'Quinn. Welcome. Brian Ross. Welcome. Libby I'm going to read these 4 names at once. Libby Ventura, Mark Ventura, Josie Ventura, and Sam Ventura. Okay. Welcome, all of you. Nathaniel Espinoza. Welcome. Amelia Corbin. Welcome. Sandra Sass. Welcome. And Monica and Joseph Kurtman. Welcome. Thank you all for coming out in the heat. We appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the services, and we'll all get to meet you at the ONEG.
Thank you very much, Carmen, and welcome to everybody. I have to especially welcome back Ben. Where's Ben? And Ben just came back from Alaska, where he wrestled a polar bear for 11 minutes. The polar bear eventually won, but everybody was very impressed that he held out for that long. And then he ran back to the cruise ship. So Ben has some pictures, including one of a bear running away from him. And so you can ask him at the ONEG to show you what he experienced in the whatever they call Alaska. We also want to welcome everybody who is our guests, and we have a lot, and you'll meet a few of them in the course of the service. And so we want to welcome Shabbat. Most of all, on page 142, we have Shalom Aleichem. Please rise.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Hayom, Mi Melech Malachei Hamelachim, Kadosh HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzelim Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzelim Shalom, Malachei Hashalom,
I'd like to ask Rich Liebert, who you just met. As you probably realize, he's a relatively new board member. And is this your first time doing announcements?
Yes.
Wow. And so be gentle on him. And he's going to do the reading Peace Be to You on page 142, which is a translation of what we just sang.
All right. I'm back. Peace be to you, O ministering angels, messengers of the Most High, Majesty of majesties, Holy One of blessing. Enter in peace, O messengers of peace, angels of the Most High, Majesty of majesties, Holy One of blessing. Bless me with peace, O messengers of peace, angels of the Most High, Majesty of majesties, Holy One of blessings. Depart in peace, O messengers of peace, angels of the Most High, Majesty of majesties, Holy One of blessing.
We turn now to the Hadlakat Nerot, the candle lighting, which you can find on page 120. And let me see if I can try something new. Let's see, anyone female under 50? You can cheat, but only by 5 years. You don't have to be 13 either, just any age up to 50 plus 5.
They don't have a microphone.
All right, let's raise it to 60. But no cheating. That's a strict, okay. Anyone, okay, then anyone who came back from a trip in the last 14 days, female, any age. Okay, page 120, I'm going to turn out the lights.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher קידשנו במצוותיו, וציוונו להדליק נר, להדליק נר של שבת.
We continue with the Lachadodi, page 138.
Lechadodi lekrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabala. 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 Shamor v'zamor b'radur echad, Yishbiyanu b'alam echad, Donoi echad, echad abo echad, L'shem t'katler t'shulach, Lechadodi lekrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabala. Lechadodi lekrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabala. כולם בשמחה ובגדולה, תוכך מני עם סגולה, בואו יקלן, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. And welcome. Can you hear me like if I hold it up here like this? I spoke at the Unitarian Church last Sunday, you may know, and they had this device around both ears that was actually quite comfortable, and maybe we can find something like that. So, but meanwhile, at least you can hear me. I'm calling them the Cantorettes. The way that came about is every week I prepare like a listing of the prayers we're going to do and what we're going to sing, and it's got default to cantor, right? And the cantor is away for 2 weeks, so I had to change cantor to either their names, or I was going to call them cantorial soloists. But then I have to erase the word cantor, and I have to type in the word cantorial soloist about 15 times, and that seemed very inefficient. So then I realized, well, if I just take the word cantor and add an E-T-T-E-S, just a couple letters, then I'm all set. And that's how they became the Cantorettes. But it's a secret. We can't tell the cantor. So that's the first thing. Now, the first Shabbat of every month, we bless those who've had planning to have birthdays or anniversaries this month. And Jennifer Martin has been wonderful for the last, how many months have you been doing it? Since December, and now it is August, so it's coming on a year, and it'll be 10 years before we know it. But she notifies everyone, and Charlotte in the office also helps out with this in particular. And so, and tonight we have not only anniversaries that are of people who've been married, but we have a blessing of a couple that's about to get married. And so that'll be interesting. And so, who is it you're asking? Say.
Who is it?
Oh. Say it again.
Who are the lucky?
You'll find out in a second. And then the other thing I have to mention is that this is a hybrid blessing. We have people here, and we have people watching, as Rich says, on TV. And they're all, Rich has already become an internet movie star. So his opening welcome has gone viral already. So we're very happy that we have our own movie star right here. So let me start with the birthdays. And if you have a birthday and I don't call you, you can come up anyway. But here's the birthdays: is Ellen, and Miriam, and Dov, and Jill, and Joy, and Bonnie, and Lila, and then John Werble is on YouTube. And I guess you can stand. You're just going to get a blessing, so you can stand right here in the front, and I'll give you a blessing that you may have many more happy years of birthdays. And Steve. And okay, he's coming around. And is there anyone I didn't call that's having a birthday in the month of August?
One was all the way down here.
Ellen, you can go on that side, and there you go.
That doesn't make any difference.
Okay. Are you ready?
Channel 16.
מי שברך אבותינו ואימותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, שרה, רבקה, רחל ולאה, הוא יברך את כל הבאים פה שיש להם יום הולדת בחודש אוגוסט. בעבור שעלה לכבוד המקום, כבוד התורה, בשכר זה הקדוש ברוך הוא ישמרם ויצילם, וייתן לכם כל משלבות ליבם. May God give you everything that you desire within reason. Now you have to add that. Otherwise, I could get sued. They'll say, where's my Maserati? ויגנו אתכם מכל צרה וסוכה, מכל נגע ומחלה. May God protect you to the best of how the world works, from everything that might harm you and destroy you and pull you down for as long as possible. Vishlach bracha v'hatzlacha, and give you blessings and success or happiness, v'ahava, and love, b'chol maaseh yadecha, in all of the things that you do. So it kind of implies that if you want happiness, you have to go out and do it. And then God, we pray God will help in the process. And let us all say, Amen.
That was lovely.
וחיבוק גדול. And now for the anniversaries, I'm going to combine them with the blessing for the couple getting married. And so the anniversaries they're on YouTube, and it's Dave and Cam and Pam Katz, who it's their 48th anniversary, and Larry and Minya Kalish. If you're out there, wave to us. And that is the 56th anniversary. Now, Lee, I wasn't going to include you and Sandy because you have a blessing separately, but I'll do that as well, okay? And Lee and Sandy, you can come up here in real life. It is their 60th, and they're going to be honored separately as well because they're doing the Torah honor. And so, come on up. And now I'd like to ask our couple that's getting married next week, Joseph and Monica, to come forward. You can applaud. And so, don't they make a beautiful couple? No, I'm talking about Lee and Sandy. Explain it to him.
Brincando, falando, não, eu estava falando sobre eles.
What language is that? Hebrew. Try it again.
It's Portuguese.
And you are from what country?
Brazil.
Brazil. May these vows that you are going to take next week and that you took how many years ago?
60 years today.
60 years ago on this very day. August 4th?
Yep.
August 4th. And what year did you get married?
1963.
Wow. Wow.
We have vows again 10 years ago.
we renewed our vows, and Baruch did it at our 50th anniversary event.
And I made a mistake. I put on the menu for the service that it was their 50th anniversary. And they wrote me and they said, you must have just made a typo. But 50 years is a lot and 60 years is even more. And you look in such good shape considering.
Considering.
And how many kids?
4.
And how many grandkids?
4.
And how many dogs?
None.
No, over the course of 60 years? 2. And neither one survived.
They both lived 17 years. They both died at 17 years.
Okay, to see even the dogs did well. And when are you getting married?
Next week. Next week.
And are you excited? Yes. May these vows that you are going to take and the vows that you have taken, may it be sweet milk. This marriage like wine and chalva. May this marriage offer fruit and shade like the date palm. May this marriage be full of laughter, our every day a day in paradise. May your marriage be a sign of compassion, a seal of happiness here and hereafter. May your marriage have a fair face and a good name, an omen as welcome as the moon in a clear blue sky. And may you live for a long, long time together with happiness and with compassion and with a sense of unity and with much, much, much love. And let us say,
Amen.
and that blessing applies to the people on YouTube as well. And this is for you, Lee. And now I guess anybody else planning to get a blessing? Was there any other blessings coming up? Everybody got the blessings they were expecting. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Is that we continue now with the evening service, beginning with Reader's Kaddish on page 144. Please rise.
V'yitkadosh Shemei Rabbo V'yamlik Divrah Purta V'yamlik Lakotei B'chayim Olug Yomecha U'v'hayecha Bet Yisrael Ba'kola Ba'gala U'yizman Ka'orim Amen. Yehesh Merah Mevarach Ve'alav Amay Elav
turn to 152 for the declaration of faith.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kavod Malechuto Le'olam Vaed Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu
We continue in English. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. Please be seated as we continue with the Ve'ahavta on page 154. We all join together. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom alevecha v'shinamta levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha Ubelechtecha baderech, ubeshavtecha ubechumecha, ukshavtam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot beineinecha, ukshavtam al mezot beitecha, uvisharecha, leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, Vitem Kedoshim Elohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher Hotzei V'yitzem Me'eretz Mitzrayim Liot Lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. We continue with Thou Shalt Love, which is an English version of what we just sang in Hebrew, which you can find hopefully on the cards that are right in front of you. If you don't have a yellow card, look somewhere else and borrow one.
And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And all these words which I command you on this day shall be in thy heart, shall be in thy heart. Thou shalt teach and do them gently unto thy children, and thou shalt speak them when thou walkest in thy house, when thou walkest by the way, and when thou risest up, and when thou liest down. Down, and thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be for frontlets between thine eyes, and thou shalt put them on the doorposts of thine house, and upon thy gates. That ye may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto thy God.
continue with Mi Chamocha on page 158. We turn to page 160 for the Hashkivenu. Shabbat Shalom. You can hear me now? Good. So I like to interact with the other religions around us, and this past week I was able to speak at the Unitarian Church. It's technically in Surprise, but it's about, my GPS anyway says it's about an 11-minute ride from here. I don't drive as fast as my GPS. And having studied about Reform Judaism in America for many years, I was familiar with the Unitarians. Rabbi Isaac Mayer Wise was the founder of American Jewish Institutions and was rabbi in Cincinnati for, not as long as the Shedroffs have been married, but for a very long time. And once he took the train to Washington, D.C., and he met with Daniel Webster. How many people know Daniel Webster? He was a famous American statesman, politician, never became president, but he was a very significant figure at the time. And Webster was a Unitarian. And so they talked about politics for a little while, and then they talked about religion, and they both came away saying, at least according to Rabbi Wise's account in his reminiscences, we basically believed the same things. So it was very comfortable, in one sense, to speak at the Unitarian church. Another reason was because when I visited the minister a few months earlier, an interim minister, that he brings me into his office, and I see a little frame on the left wall, and in the frame is a mezuzah. And so I'm about to say, oh, that's one of my religious symbols too. Then it says on the bottom, from your friends at Temple Beth Shalom. So I said, whoa, that's the name of my synagogue. What a coincidence. And then I realized it's my synagogue. It's the same place. And the president at the time was Dusty Rhodes. Does anybody, you knew him? Okay, so the Unitarians had sold their building, and they had been like wandering Jews, if you will. And we had taken them in for a while, twice apparently. The first time we let them use the auditorium and social hall for big events. And then a few years later, they bought a building, and it was turned out to be too small. So they bought it and then sold it, and they were homeless again. And Dusty said, you can come back. So the second time they kind of moved in. And so then when, I think it was 1999, they dedicated their building, which is beautiful. And we had a service here to honor them, and Dusty presented them with the mezuzah. And so, and the congregations were very close. But that's 24 years ago, and I asked who was at the induction service, the very first service they had in their building, which was 1999. And there were, I don't know how many people there. We had a very nice contingent from the temple, too. One lady had been at the service. So people move over. But we're going to try to reestablish a friendly connection, because it's nice to have friends. You never know when you'll need them, and even if you don't need them, it's nice to have them. And the service was exactly an hour. I was under strict instructions to keep my sermon short, which was difficult, but I think I did it. The minister was an interim minister, and by the time I was there, he was still technically employed, but he was running down his vacation time. So he'd already left for Houston. So I think he figured if the rabbi, like many rabbis, goes on, and they can't blame me because I'm already out of town. I'm gone. But I didn't go very on, but he helped me pick a suitable topic, which was, I thought I was speaking on tikkun in community. Tikkun meaning repairing the world, and in community, but they wrote it down, tikkun in fellowship, which I guess is the same thing. And, and so I tried to very briefly explain the Kabbalistic idea that when God wanted to create the world, that our world, there was already a universe filled with things, so he had to kind of squeeze the world in, and that created a shattering, a breaking of the fragments, and these fragments went all over the universe, and so there's a certain incompleteness now, and there's a certain breakage, and it's all over, and the mystic is through mystical meditations and good deeds and other things, is trying to basically metaphorically take a broom and get those little fragments and bring them back and then put them back together again. And if you've ever broken, one of your grandmother's valued plates, that came from Venice in 1400s and is now lying on the floor in about 1 million little pieces, you realize the futility of trying to find. It's not like those puzzles that you buy in the store where everything is clearly has the little things, the plates just shatter. And so I explained that idea, and I talked about the potential value of community in a time, as we know, that America is very individualistic focused, that what counts in America is what you do yourself, basically to make money. And so our goal, according to contemporary societal ethos, is to work hard to make money and not to trample on other people too obviously. But the idea of building community and trying to be together in a joint venture which is not monetarily focused is really quite foreign to our thinking. And so I went through these things, and they seemed receptive, so that was good. I do have to say, they laughed at my jokes a little more than you guys do. And so I told them that, and they were very honored, and they said, no, your congregants don't appreciate your finer sense of humor. And it was interesting because the Unitarians follow seven principles, and I'll read them, and you can see how kind of universal these principles are. So the first principle is the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Raise your hands if you agree with that. Raise your hands if you don't agree with that. Raise your hands if you were sleeping and you don't know what I said. Okay. Number 2, justice, equality, and compassion in human relations. Raise your hands. Number 3, acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth. Number 4, a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. So we want to find truth and meaning. I would have made those 2 separate ones. Number 5, the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process. Number 6, the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. And number 7, respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. All right, so that the hour-long ritual involved they lit a peace candle, and they asked me if I would light it, and so I asked, and the woman helping me with the service, she said, you can light it and I'll say what we say. And so I said, well, can you tell me what you're going to say? Well, I don't want to be on video lighting this candle and then she's saying these things that, anyway. So here's what she was going to say. With its beauty and grace and strength, may this flaming chalice remind us of our highest aspirations, our deepest commitments, and our most earnest intentions. So that sounds quite nice. So I said, sure, I'll light it. So that sounds quite nice. So I said, sure, I'll light it. And they have a very fancy thing to light the candles with that maybe we could figure out where they got it from, right? Did you see it? It was like this. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. This is the light. Oh, okay. And so it was this, like, it's a candle where there's an outer area that comes back, and then you have the candle, and then you just push the outer area forward, and it blows out the candle without the flame without having to blow it out. But I still put it over the edge of the table because I wouldn't want to set a church on fire. That would be very bad headlines. Can you imagine? They're not going to say Rabbi accidentally sets Unitarian Church on fire. They're going to say Rabbi sets church ablaze. Three fire engine fire, and they'll show the church burned to the ground. Yes, $32 million in damages. And the rabbi refuses to apologize. Oh, my God. So I put it like that with the edge over so that nothing would happen, and nothing did happen. But it was a very interesting time, and then they have what they call their social hour. And I said, oh, we have an oneg. And they said, an oneg? What's an oneg? And they said, a social hour. And what was interesting is then all the Jewish people there started to come up to me one after another. I figured it was at least a third Jewish, and including some ex-members that I'm sure you know some of the people there. Yes, so, and they, of course, went into detail about the fight that they had here 27 years ago and 32 years ago. I said, those people that you fought with are dead. And she said, but I'm still angry. But it was very interesting, and they have brochures for different people, and they have one that you gave me about Jewish Unitarians. They have their own sub club there, and so because they don't, their beliefs are very general and very beautiful, but very universal. And so we have basically all of their beliefs, but we have a whole nother set of beliefs that are much more particularistic. We have Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, Leah. We have Moses and Miriam. We have the Talmud. We have a history of a beautiful history, but also a very sad history. And so we're very similar, and we're very, very different. And so I didn't really stress that point to them. I thought that it might be better to stress commonalities, but I do think our food is better. They made challah, right? They made challah, but our cakes, and particularly recently, our cakes are vastly exceed theirs. But I'm not saying that in a spirit of religious triumphalism, just so you're clear. I think their religion is fine, but our cakes are better. We continue our service with the tefillah, beginning on page 164. Please rise.
Adonai, Sivatatikot, Ufia, Gita Yilaterecha. Adonai, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, Ve'imotenu. Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor Banavra, El Yon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chastei Avot, B'imahot, Umevi Gula Levai B'neihem, Leman Shemo Yahweh, Melech Ozer Mashiach Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'anam Adonai Mechayeh, Hakol Ve'atah Mashiach. Mechakel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somet Noflim V'Rofech Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunoto L'Shenei Afar, Michamocha Babal Gibrot, Umidam Elach, Melech
memi tumachaye umatzmiach Yeshua v'ne'emana talachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hakol.
Beth Shalom.
We pause for a moment of silent prayer, standing, or if you're very tired, seated.
Shalom, shalom, Birullah, Booyah, say shalom aleinu, ve'yakol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Booyah, say shalom, shalom, ve'yakol Yisrael, amen. Oh, say shalom, shalom, Birullah, Booyah, say shalom aleinu, ve'yakol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Ve'yakol Yisrael, amen.
Please be seated as we prepare for the Mishaberach, the prayer for those in need of healing. I'd like to offer special prayer for all those in need of healing, and particularly for several people that are very, very sick and are especially in need of our prayers. Fountainhead of all life, you who rained your blessings on our mothers, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, and on our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, causing their seed to sprout and grow and thrive, not only in a land flowing, but in a desert place too. May you likewise shower us and those near us with a recovery of wholeness, a restoration of the vessel and its contents. May you pour your healing into the barren furrows when we are parched by illness and pain, dried out by distancing and despair. As you have given us your Torah, the waters of life, as a source of help for all time, send the waters of healing to all who thirst for peace, for wholeness, for shleimut. And let us say,
Amen.
I want to pray for Fern Bencover, Susan Blum, Ben Brand, Bernie Brownstein, Bonnie Cutler, Donna Fisher, Michelle Gluck, Miriam Herschel, Phyllis Jacobs, Minya Kalish, Dave Katz, Steve Katz, Michael Longmire, Terry Michael, Amanda Makulis Magari, Cy Perlis, Barbara Rudson, David Rusin, Janie Stein, Lorraine Stoloff, Bert Stoloff, Myron Weinbach, and Jonathan Werbel. We also think about and feel the presence of all those that we know that are in need of healing as we join together in the Mishaberach.
Mishaberach
turn now to the Torah service beginning on page 362. Please rise. Miss you guys. Both small ones need some. I'm going to buy this.
Please.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can undo. do it. Please be seated. For the blessing tonight, a very special couple that you have already been introduced to, and that is Lee and Sandy. Ya'amdu Lee v'Sandy la'aliyah l'Torah l'kvod shanat shishim lechatunatchem. Atem nisuim shishim shanim. You've been married 60 years. B'simcha u'b'tzason u'ba'ahava. You've been married 60 years in joy and happiness and love most of the time. And so we'd like to honor you on this occasion, which is not even this month or this week, but this very day in the English calendar. And we really want to convey as much as we can the sense of respect and honor that's due to you on this auspicious occasion. And may you have another 60 years of even greater. All right. Another long period of greater, even greater happiness and tranquility. And let us say. Amen. And then the Parshat Ekev is the Parsha this week, and it's in the second column here, right there. So, but okay, let me move. We've had some microphone issues tonight, but I think we've innovated pretty well.
Baruch Hu es Adonai Hamarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'olamim v'nasan lanu es Toraso. Baruch atah Adonai Nosein HaTorah.
Amen. So as I was telling you last week, this is the third parsha in the final book of the Torah, the book of Deuteronomy, which was probably discovered by King Josiah and his advisors in the temple library sometime around 640 BCE. And they came out with the last fifth of this scroll, and they said, God gave this to us earlier, and it was filed away and not paid attention to. Kind of like that important email that you get and you don't really read, and you file it away, and then months later you realize that you were supposed to get $37 million from Nigeria, and because you didn't read the email, you didn't get it. But in this case, it was God's words, and most of it actually is speeches from Moses. And the children of Israel have now maneuvered. They've gotten all the way from Egypt across Sinai, and they went down below because the upper road, which was the superhighway of the time, if you will, was well patrolled by a number of these very aggressive tribes with big armies. So they went down, and then they snuck across, I guess, what would be the Negev into Transjordan, which is today maybe Saudi Arabia, and then they came up Saudi Arabia into what is Jordan, and then they're going to go west to enter the land of Israel. And Moses is trying to convey, he's 120 years old. He's married to Tzipporah probably for even longer than 60 years. But he's trying to convey to the Israelites all the important things, because God has told him that he's not going to be given any sort of exemption and allowed into the land of Israel. And the reason given is that he struck the rock instead of talking to the rock, but I think the real reason is that it just is time for a generational change. You can't have the same people in charge for literally forever, because nothing will ever change. And so no matter how great a leader, it's time for him to move to Sun City. and relax and let somebody else take over the obligations of leadership. V'haya ekev tishma'un et hamishpatim ha'ele. V'shamartem v'asitem otam v'shamar Adonai Elohecha lecha et habrit v'et hachesed atsher nishba levatecha. And God is aware of the Brit, of the covenant, and of the chesed. Chesed is dove. How would you translate chesed? Kindness. And it's a really intense form of kindness. Asher nishba levatecha, that God made this covenant and swore, nishba, not swore in the sense of using curse words, but swore in the sense of made an oath, made a binding, a legally and morally binding agreement with your ancestors, spiritual ancestors. V'ahavta v'barachta v'harach v'barach peri bitnecha u'peri admatecha diganecha v'tirchecha v'tzaricha sheger Elohecha v'asita tzancha v'ala dama asher nishba levatecha loted lecha baruch tiyeh mikol ha'amim lo yeh b'cha eker v'akara u'b'beimtecha v'asir yiyeh mimcha kol chole v'kol midei Mitzrayim ha'ra'im asher yadata lo yasimam b'cha v'natatem b'chol sinacha v'achalt et kol ha'amim asher Adonai Elohecha natan lecha lo techos einecha elehem v'lo ta'avod et Elohechem ki mokesh hu lecha. So you should feel confident that you can conquer this land and that you should not fear these other nations. And most importantly of all, you should not worship their idols, their God. It uses the term gods. And so there's a huge controversy among biblical scholars. Did the ancient Israelites accept that other groups had quote-unquote gods, but that these gods were relatively trivial, or did they not, or did it take maybe 500 years to reach the point of true absolute monotheism where, you know, there's one God and only one God? That seems like a logical assumption to us, but it may not have been. But in any case, Moses comes out very strongly and says, do not worship their idols. Do not worship these nations' gods. And they lived in close proximity in Canaan, right? There was the Israelites and the Canaanites and the Jebusites and the Philistines and the Phoenicians weren't that far away, and Moabites and so forth. There were another 10 or 15 such tribes. And so it was very easy to be influenced. And the archaeologists have found that the culture was the same, the furniture was the same, the pots were the same, the diet was similar, with the main exceptions where the archaeologists dug into the Israelite garbage. What did they not find there very much of? Right. So there's always one guy that sneaks a little bit of ham chew home, and but there was almost no pork in the Israelites' garbage. But other than that, it wasn't like everything the Israelites were cooking was different from the Canaanites that were living in the villages just a few blocks away. So they're close to you, they're similar to you culturally, but you have to be very, very careful about avoiding to be influenced by their gods.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher nasananu Torat emet l'chayei olam nata b'tzolchenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And please rise.
This
Please remain standing as we prepare for the mourner's Kaddish. I'd now like to ask Vicki Goldstein to come forward to read a special reading. We remember them in memory of her sister, Marla.
I'm a crier, so if I cry, bear with me. We remember them by Sylvan Kamens and Rabbi Jack Reimer, who Rabbi knows. At the rising sun and at its going down, we remember them. At the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them. At the opening of the buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. At the blueness of the skies and in the warmth of summer, we remember them. At the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of the autumn, we remember them. At the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. As long as we live, they too will live, for they are now a part of us. We remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have decisions that are difficult to make, we remember them. When we have joy we crave to share, we remember them. When we have achievements that are based on theirs, we remember them. For as long as we live, they too will live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them. That's from my sister Marla.
We remember the yard sites of Marla Goldstein, remembered by her sister Vicki. Elliot Abramowitz, remembered by brother Mark. Daniel Fox, remembered by husband of Sandra. Sophie Lutsky, the sister of Miriam Herschel. Eliana Dubrin Menses, the granddaughter of Joyce Gold. Nathaniel Max Michael, the son of Therese Michael. Fola Miller, the wife of Leon. Dr. Colleen O'Meara, the sister of Mary Gill Savarin. Dr. Bernard Simon, a friend of Bobby Ordover. Are there other people who would like to remember loved ones? Oh, okay, and his father fought in the Air Force, the Israeli Air Force, when there was no Israeli Air Force. Anyone else like to remember? Yes. My condolences and our condolences. Our condolences to you as well. Please turn to page 598 as we join together in the Mourner's Kaddish in memory of all of our loved ones. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah v'alma dibra krutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayichon u'b'yomeichon u'b'chayei dekol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'b'zman kariv v'yamru Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Li'alam Ulamei Almaya Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpo'ar V'yitruman V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitalel V'yitalal Shmei Dekutsha Brechu Leila Min Kol Berchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechemata Dal Mirambi Alma V'yimru Yehei Shlomo Rabbah Min Shemaya V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yamru. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yamru. Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and all humanity, to which we say, Amen. Please be seated.
Okay. First, I'd like to thank our wonderful pianist and our cantorettes. Aren't they wonderful? And they're cute, too. Okay. This next one is for, I'm reading for our safety team leader. She asked me to read this, and I'm really honored to do it. On August 4th, the security team is issuing an invitation to all members of our congregation to participate in a tour of our synagogue starting on August 11th through September 1st after Shabbat service. This tour will be beneficial to our congregation for safety and security. All exits, including those that require going downstairs, and first aid kits, all fire hydrants and alarms, men and ladies, restrooms, and all closets will be included in this tour. Members of the Temple Beth Shalom security and safety team will be your guides. Please contact Bonnie Longmire for acceptance or any questions. There will be an open house. There will be an open house on Sunday, August 13th from 1 to 3. Invite friends and neighbors. Coffee with the Rabbi, 10 a.m., August 10th, New York West Bakery. Call the office. Torah study every Wednesday on Zoom. Call office. Like our Facebook and new website. Can Do Social Action is pasta this month. The Rabbi honored and talked about the birthdays, but happy birthday to Ellen Ventura, Miriam Lent, Dov Galoni, Burl Jacobson, Lorraine Stoloff, and Jill Clemens. And last but not least, happy anniversary, the big 60 for Lee and Sandy Shadroff, who have been married almost all my life. And Dave and Pam Katz.
Richard did that like an expert. We're now going to conclude with the benediction and tefillah tederech, and then the happy future wedding couple is accepting gifts. They particularly would like a Maserati. So, if you have an extra one, think about it. Please rise as we conclude our service with the benediction and Tfilat Derech.
Yevarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yishmerecha.
May the light of God shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you.
Yisod Adonai panav elecha v'yaseh lecha shalom.
May you feel God's presence within you always, and may you find peace, happiness, and much love. And let us say, Amen.